Alright, so I'm sure a lot of you have, or actually, first off, just picture this. You're just walking along, you go to the grocery store, you buy your favorite bag of chips, like hot Cheetos or whatever, and then, so you go to the cash register, or the reception. The person who takes all your groceries and the place where you have to pay for it. And so they ask you, what do you want? Do you want your items bagged in plastic or paper? And so if you take the time to think about it, you wanna make the right decision, right? You wanna make the decision that's that's best for the environment or for the planet. And so a lot of people will argue that paper is the greener option, or it seems like it would be best. And a lot of governments or a lot of places around are like going towards that movement to get rid of plastic bags in favor of paper bags, or putting taxes on bags just so that more people will use reusables. But although neither plastic or paper bags are exactly great for the environment, I will explain why plastic bags are actually better than paper bags. And so first off, I'm just gonna highlight some key points about the processes of both. And so first off, with plastic bags, and for these key points, I got my information from a research paper done by Rachel Decker and Andrews Graff. And so first off, with the process of making plastic bags, plastic is made from oil refining, and it only uses 4% of the world's oil production. And so although heavy machinery is used to get the oil, the only main big thing that's used is electricity. And so the plastic that's refined is very malleable, and it allows it to be easily manipulated into many different kinds of objects, like toys, and especially for this purpose, bags. And so compared to the process of making paper bags, plastic is a lot more simple, because with paper, a lot of trees have to be logged down, usually by clear cutting, which is just like cutting a bunch of trees just like that. This uses a lot of heavy machinery, which uses a lot of fossil fuels, and of course habitats are destroyed when you clear cut these trees. And so and then after cutting all these trees down, you have to take them to the factories, which requires a lot of heavy lifting, which uses even more fuel. And in these factories, there's this long process involving even more machinery and a lot of chemicals just to turn the logs into pulp. And then with this pulp, you need to use gallons of water to clean it and bleach it. And then to finally make the paper, the pulp is combined in a ratio of 1 to 400. So there's a lot of water, there's a lot of wasted things that go into making paper. And on top of that, going back to the logging is it's a dangerous job. According to the CDC, the average annual fatality rate is more than 23 times than for all U.S. workers, which is, there's 164 deaths per 100,000 workers compared to the usual 7 per 100,000. And so now I'm gonna move on to why plastic bags just shouldn't be banned. Looking at the key points of what goes into making these bags, it's pretty obvious that paper bags are produced more, or the process that goes into making paper bags produces more waste. According to Progressive Bag Affiliates, a division of the American Chemistry Council, paper bags generate 70% more emissions and 50% more water pollutants than plastic, which requires 40% less energy to produce and generates 80% less solid waste. And then another study is the California's statewide waste characterization study, shows that plastic, grocery, and other merchandise bags consistently make up just 0.3% of the waste stream in the state. In comparison, organic waste such as food and yard clippings make up 32%, while construction debris comprises about 30%. If a lot of the cities were to put a ban on plastic bags like the city of Los Angeles did, then the effect of eliminating free grocery bags on the amount of waste generated in the city would be pretty insignificant. There's not much waste that comes from these grocery bags. And although reusable bags might be a good alternative, because if you do reuse them enough times, then it is actually better for the environment. It should also be considered that these also pose a potential health risk. According to testing by 2 independent laboratories, researchers obtained bags from shoppers leaving major grocery stores, and all of these bags were tested on a blind basis, just randomly. And more than 30% of these used bags had unsafe levels of bacterial contamination, and 40% had yeast or mold, and there was fecal bacteria in some. So reusable bags aren't as viable an option as we think they are. And in contrast, plastic bags show no evidence of bacteria, mold, yeast, or other things. And so, although it seems to be a popular idea that plastic bags are at the bottom and that they should be rid of when placed side by side by paper and reusable bags, it actually turns out that plastic bags are actually better for the environment. To recap, they require a lot less energy to make since the process is simpler, and there's just not as much waste as there is that goes into making paper bags. And so next time if you get something from the grocery store, just actually, if you have the option, don't get a bag, because bags aren't very good, but if you must, choose the plastic bag. Thank you.
I need that.
Sorry.
So Alex, what did you think?
I thought the speech was pretty interesting. The speaker took an interesting stance on a somewhat debated topic in plastic bags and the bag industry. But throughout the speech, I saw some some things that could be corrected. The attention device was a little unclear. You kept on saying a lot, so there was a lot of pauses in the detention device, and then when I found out about the detention device, what it really was we were trying to do was a little bit unclear because I don't think a lot of people think about what they want when they go to a grocery store. They want a plastic bag or paper bag. I know in my case, I usually don't care a lot. I just put it in a bag and I'll walk out. But you introduce the sources a little bit. You explain the process a lot of what goes into making a plastic bag and a paper bag. But as for some of your claims, I've heard a lot about plastic bags and they destroy the environment just as more as paper bags, plastic bags. When they go into the ocean and the ocean gyres, they create like these huge garbage patches which pretty much kill the environment. So I've heard a lot of other things. Maybe they could have been acknowledged for a counter argument. Could have been there, would have been useful. And I could tell you were a little bit nervous because your hand was jittery a lot. Your paper was shaking a little bit. But you didn't like totally read off your paper, which was pretty good. I like that. That was really good. Besides, there were a lot of pauses in between, which kind of made it sometimes hard to follow. I think it was overall a good speech.
All right, I thought you said a lot of the things that I would say. I think you do need to have a little bit more argument about whether or not plastic bags are problematic in the environment. You do try to minimize it. You have that one statistic that says they make up 0.3% of the waste. Of course, it could be an incredibly important 0.3% of the waste compared to, like you said, garbage, which makes up a big part of the waste, but it mostly, it's like compost. It mostly goes away and is not a problem after a period of time. So the volume may be less important than the impact it has, and I think you need to do a little bit more to minimize that. I thought you had I'd agree about the introduction. I think you've got a good idea there. You get a little hesitant, a little stuck on it in a couple of spots. Once you get going, I think you're okay. There's a clear organization in the speech. I thought you stuck to that pretty well. At first, I thought all of your information was going to be coming from that one article that you cited, but later on you presented additional information from other sources. So I thought that helped quite a bit. On delivery issues, your voice projects pretty well. I think there's good variety in the voice, but the pacing is a little bit off. I think Alex mentioned that. And there was something else that I was going to say, but I don't remember exactly what it was. At the end, I like the summary. I thought that helped make your argument clearer at the end of the speech. But you have this awkward exit line where you kind of are stepping back a little bit from the argument that you just made. So I think you might want to be careful about that. All right, thank you.